Well, we look at how we can create virtual machines in pods using templates, but how can we actually further leverage on the benefits of having the Kubernetes platform itself? What we can do is really to have virtual machines connected to pod networks, and we can then be able to use the standard Kubernetes methods like service routes, for instance. Network policies can also be applied to the VM pods, the same as application pods. We can have VM to pod communications and vice versa. Communications happens over SDN or ingress. It all depends on the network connectivity. So let's just look at what we have in this environment. We are on the KubeVirt VM project, much like what we were looking at previously. If you were to look at the pods that's running, what we have here is, the different Virt launcher pod. So this actually is the pod that contains the RHEL 8 test VM. So the Windows virtual machine that we have created earlier on, it's also being represented, or rather it sits within this Virt launcher Win2K surviving cal pod. So what I have is I actually have a RHEL cluster that's running on RHEL 9, right? I have actually just created something simple as a service for running Apache that actually sits on this RHEL 9 VM itself, right? So what do we have over here? If we were to describe the service itself, you can see that it is tied to these 3 IP addresses on port 80. If we were to just do this to look at the IP address, we can see that 240, 248, 239, these are exactly the 3 ports that's being tied to this particular service. So, well, then it just means that if we hit the service IP, right, we will be able to just be routed to any of these 3 services. What we can do after that could be things like spinning up another port that sits in a different namespace, let's say within the default namespace, right? What we're doing is just testing whether we can reach the services from one namespace to another. So in this case, we are going on VM1. If we try again, it goes VM1, VM2, VM1, VM0, right? So essentially, it's able to go to the other VMs, right, accordingly. So this is actually what we can do as well. So, well, this is something that can be done internally. There's nothing stopping us from having a external load balancer, for instance. You can just route this traffic across something that's external running on other management network rather than within the OpenShift SDN. There is really a lot of capabilities and possibilities when we try to combine all these things together. Other things that we can actually do over here is to go and look at how we can do node maintenance, which is again something that may be common depending on the requirements. So if we were to just look at the install operator, we can see that there is a node maintenance operator that is provided within the 4.11 cluster. If we were to go and look at node maintenance itself, we can then create a node maintenance for a particular node. So what do we actually have running on all these various nodes? So if we were to look at it, for instance, we have 2 VMs that's running within the pod on master 0. What we want to do perhaps is to try and run a maintenance on master 0. So we can just copy the name of the node. And then let's just go back to the operator itself and say that we create a node maintenance for this particular master 0. We can give a reason according to what we want to do. And then we can just say create. So it's in the running phase. What's going to happen is that the virtual machine itself is going to start to move away from node 0 to another node once the whole flow starts to evade pods from master 0. So now you can see that it's auto migrating, and then now it's moved to 2. So this will be the next one that is going to start to auto migrate. So it's again going through a migration itself. And again, it moved to master 2. If you recall what we have earlier, we did log into the virtual machine just to check whether or not the disk has been expanded. So we can see over here that the migration of the VM happened seamlessly when we run a planned maintenance on the node itself. What is going on really is that if you were to look at the nodes, right now you can see that it's in the starting maintenance phase. And if you were to look at the overview page, you can see that there is a activity that's ongoing. So one of the node is currently, in this case, under maintenance, which is the master 0 that we have actually specified. And all the various pods are then looking at other places to move to. So these are all in pending state. So this is another feature that we see customers requesting for, right? To be able to do planned maintenance for this particular cluster that we have. What we can do after this, of course, is that we can actually just remove the node maintenance. Right now it's scheduling disabled in the ready state. So what we do after this is just to say that I want to bring it out of maintenance. What will happen after this is now it goes back to ready state. It's no longer in the maintenance state. Of course, we will see a lot of pods being generated in different places as well. It's starting to spin up all the required resources that runs on the master 0. You can see that it moved back to 0. It shows that master 0 is now fully capable of taking workload after exiting out of the maintenance. And again, there is no impact at all. Everything is still working as normal. It's all working properly. So yeah, this is one of the other stuff that we can do. If you are worried, you can always take a snapshot before you start to perform this maintenance. Again, it's very simple to just do a snapshot on this platform. In this case, we are doing a snapshot on the root disk. We don't actually do a snapshot on cloud init disk. So we just need to do like save, and it will just create a snapshot. So if anything happened at all, you can just do a restoration of the snapshot, but you need to just shut it down before you can actually restore the snapshot, right? So it's all very simple on the things that can actually perform just directly from the UI itself. Everything can be done in a very nice fashion. So yeah, that's what I want to show over here. We will show the migration toolkit for virtualization in the third video.